Okay, so you're saying, Chris, I got it. I got to get into the profit system. Great. Let's look at the different kinds of profit systems. The first one is what I call the stationary or the standard or the traditional profit system. And the stationary, standard, traditional profit system creates wealth. It means you own your own business. And this would be a traditional business that you might see all around your town. It might be a furniture store or an ice cream shop or a store where they sell clothing, whatever it might be. This is a standard, traditional profit system. And I call it stationary for a specific reason. I'll tell you about it in a minute. But this is the kind of thing that creates wealth. In fact, there was a book written called The Millionaire Next Door, and the basic premise of it is that the average American millionaire is not the flashy celebrities that we see on television, but the average American millionaire is a person who owns their own business. They pay off their house. They don't buy new cars all the time. That's what the average millionaire in America looks like. It looks like the person next door, except that they're a millionaire. And the number one way they get to become a millionaire is by owning their own business. Now, here's the thing about the stationary, standard, traditional profit system. It has higher reward, obviously, because you can make a lot of money, but it also has higher risk. So it's not the low risk, low reward of the wage system. It's higher reward, but it also has higher risk. Let's think about that. What does it take to start a traditional, standard, stationary profit system? Say, for example, a store. Maybe you're going to open up a franchise. You say, I want to open a sandwich shop. So you go to one of the famous sandwich shops and you say, I want to buy a franchise and open up a shop and start making ham and cheese sandwiches for everybody. What does it take? Well, it takes some fees, doesn't it? You have to pay some money to that franchise operator, and sometimes that thing can get up to $100,000, $250,000, $500,000. I know a gentleman who owns a franchise. He paid $1 million for it. He paid $1 million for it. Now, he also makes $250,000 a year clear off of it, and that's why he was willing to do it, but he had to put in a lot of money. That is a high risk. So he has fees. Well, then you also have licenses. You got to get business licenses from the city and from the state. You got legal fees because you got to get things set up and corporations, and maybe you're an S Corp, maybe you're a C Corp, maybe you're a sole proprietor. You got to do all your legal stuff. You have to buy equipment. Let's say, again, you're going to open up that sandwich shop. You got to buy all the things like the knives and that kind of stuff. You got to buy refrigerators. You got to buy ovens if you're going to bake bread and toast the bread and those kinds of things. You got to buy all those kinds of things and sink a lot of money into it. You've got to do advertising and marketing. You've got to go out and buy those little mailers, advertising those little mailers that go out, and you got to buy newspaper ads, and you might even be really ambitious and buy radio ads or whatever. So you've got those kinds of expenses. And then you've got real estate leases. You've got to go down to your local strip mall, and you got to contact one where there's an opening, and you got to negotiate all that, and you might be into that for $3,000 to $8,000 a month. So when you look at all that, you've got your fees, you've got your licenses, you've got your legal, you've got your equipment, you've got your advertising and marketing, you've got real estate leases, etc., etc., etc. Here's the bottom line. It takes a lot of money to open your own business. It's high risk, but yes, you can get high reward from it. And that's where most millionaires are made. They are made because they're in a standard, traditional, stationary profit system. If you want to start your own, or you want to buy a franchise, you're looking at somewhere between $75,000 and $1.5 million to even open the doors. I suppose you might be able to shoestring it a little bit less than that, but the fact is that the average business that gets started somewhere between $75,000 and $1.5 million. They can make a lot of money though, and that's good, and that's where most people have made their money. But you know what? That's what separates them from the people who are not financially independent and successful, is because at least they're in the right system. So I told you that I'd tell you why I call it stationary. Here's why I call it stationary. It's because it's limited by time and space. You see, a traditional business, let's say you go down, you open up a sandwich shop, and you're on the corner there in the strip mall, right on the main drag through town. You're limited by time and space. You can only have so much space in that little space that you rent, right? You can only put so many cash registers along the back of the wall. You can only hire so many employees who will fit behind the cash registers at once. You can only actually process a certain amount of sandwiches per day. Now, you might be able to crank a lot of people through there and make a good profit, but ultimately you're limited by time and space there. only be open 24 hours a day. You might be able to do that. If you were open 24 hours a day and you were cranking as many people through there as possible, you are still limited by time and space, unless you do it all over again. Now think about that for a moment. If you have to do it all over again, what do you have to do? Well, you have to expend some more fees. You have to do a little bit more on your legal. You have to go out and buy more equipment. You have to do a little more advertising and marketing. And you have to go out and do more real estate stuff. It's a whole nother option, but it takes a lot of effort. And it's worth it for a lot of people. And that's the backbone of our society is small business. But it costs a lot of money. A lot of people, it's great, and they earn a lot of money, but the fact is that it takes a lot of time and effort and energy and money. Is there a better way? That would be the question. Is there a better way? Is there a way that is low risk with the potential of higher reward? Is there a way that we can get the risk level of being in the wage system, but the reward level of being in the profit system? And yes, there is.